Hey everyone, welcome back to Reading with Tatiana, Bookshelf Bunny. If you're watching this video, I'm wearing my Sailor Moon t-shirt. Back to my book review. So today I'm reviewing Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, and I unfortunately gave this book a 2 out of 5. If you've watched my previous videos, I did say that I had removed this book from my to be read. However, for my book club at work, the people chose this book, so I put it back on. And yeah, it's unfortunate that I gave it a 2 out of 5. My Booktuber shout today goes out to a very recent Booktuber. She joined only a few weeks ago. Her name is Jaleesa. I'll link her down below. And her channel is called Jaleesa Reading Beyond the Book Cover. And as always, before I go into my full book review, if you're watching this video, I always appreciate if you hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also comment down below if you have read this book, especially if you gave it a 4 or 5, because I'd love to hear why you liked it so much. This book was published in 2020 and it also was a Goodreads Awards recipient, so obviously it is objectively a well-received book, and the genre it is in is horror or historical fiction. A bit about the author Silvia Moreno-Garcia. She is born in Mexico, however she currently resides, and I assume is a Canadian citizen. She currently resides in Vancouver, which is my hometown, and she also went to my same university, University of British Columbia. However, we study different things. She has a master in science and technology. She is a book columnist for the Washington Post, and she also writes a variety of genres, including fantasy, horror, noir, and historical. She writes not just novels, but also lots of short stories, and has several collections of short stories. And actually, now that I think about the premise of Mexican Gothic, I think I would have enjoyed this book, like the premise of it as a short story, but as a novel, I just felt it was too slow of a burn. Now to get into the premise of the book. So this book starts with our protagonist Noemi, and she lives in Mexico City, and we get a very quick glimpse into her life. She seems like a young socialite from a wealthy family, and her father get a letter from her cousin Catalina, who had married to a British settler whose family, the Doyle family, has a silver mine in the Mexican countryside. So in this letter from her cousin Catalina, it's a bit erratic, it's kind of all over, and Noemi and her father are kind of worried about her cousin. So she goes off to the countryside to see what's going on and to kind of suss out the situation of her cousin's married life in the countryside. Noemi goes to the countryside, is picked up by Francis, who is the driver for the family, and goes to the high place where it is where the Doyle family lives. And here, Noemi hears stories of the silver mine hasn't been doing well for a while. There were suspicious cases of all the workers dying twice in the past, and the family is very particular. There's also Florence, who is Francis's mom. She's kind of the head maid, and the place is very kept in order. They don't talk during dinner, there's not a lot of lighting, people are kind of kept to themselves, and yeah, it's just really bizarre. And then Noemi meets her cousin Catalina, but Catalina's not really who she used to be, and also Florence, the head maid, kind of keeps the interaction between Noemi and her cousin Catalina at minimum. So we're kind of what's going on in this house? Why is it always so dim there? Why does it always feel damp? And why is everyone just kind of keeping to themselves? And that's kind of the premise of the book, and that's where I'm going to stop because I want to, spoil it. Common themes that I found in this book was the idea of being loyal to your family, and it goes both ways. The beauty of being loyal to your family, if you're the good guys, I guess, and also the dark side of being faithfully loyal to your family on the dark side too. And the idea of the obsession with preserving family lineage and also self-preservation, and that someone, the patriarch of the family, could become a god, and people would do whatever to help preserve that. And I felt that was very dark, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. I just didn't like the execution of it. Things I didn't enjoy about this book, to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the protagonist or any of the interpersonal relationships that were in the book that I think you were supposed to cheer for. I didn't really like Noemi as a person. I didn't really enjoy the relationship between her cousin Catalina, and I think they tried to frame it so that, like, yes, you want Noemi to save and help Catalina, but I wasn't really cheering for anyone. So I think it was really hard for me to read because I couldn't really like enjoy any of the characters. What I did like about the book though is I went in with this book blind just because someone in my book club had picked this book and I just wanted to give it a try. So I had no idea that it was going to be a horror book, so that was very surprising to me and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. On Goodreads, this book got an average of 3.68 out of 5. I think that's very accurate. I do find that people either love this book or hate this book, with me being on the latter. So reasons why people didn't like this book was very similar to me. They thought it was an intriguing premise, however the execution was bad, it dragged, it was like too slow of a burn, and all the action was crammed into the last 50 pages. And I really stand by, I think the premise of this book would be better as a short story. Good reviews where people really loved the twist, they enjoyed the slow burn, and also people like the setting being at post-colonial Mexico in the 1950s. I think you should read this book if you are a fan of horror and the setting, this Gothic post-colonial 1950s era. The book is also classified as historical fiction. I don't know if I would classify it as that, but I think if you like historical fiction, maybe this book could be for you as well. Now I'll share how this book made me feel, because if you ask me to recommend you a book, I'd like to share how it made me feel, because in a year, a week, 5 years from now, I probably won't remember exactly what this book is about, but I'll always remember how it made me feel. So this book, Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, it made me feel that I want to check the air quality around me. And that's all I'm gonna say about how and why it made me feel that way. Thank you for watching until the end of my book review for Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. If you read this book, I'd love to hear what you thought down below. And if you want to join me next time, my next book club book with my friends in Calgary is Other People's Clothes by Calla, Henkel. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.